One.
Hello, everybody. This is number 10, and this one is on binary thinking. And that is binary thinking. And, well, it's quite popular these days to condemn binary thinking. Well, if you don't like binary thinking, throw away your computer, throw away your HDTV, and throw away your mobile phone. Because your computer, your HD TV, and your mobile phone, and the internet that brings it all together, either on landlines or through the ether, all of those things are based on ones and zeros, which are bits, which combine to make bytes, words, well, anything you want to assign those things to when you're transmitting data. So, binary thinking, wow, such a terrible thing. Well, it's brought us all modern technology and our computer revolution. So, I guess we can't condemn binary thinking from that perspective. And then, we have, a little more philosophical concept in binary thinking that it either is or it isn't. Okay? There's really nothing in between those two things. It either is what it is or it isn't what you think it is. No middle ground, no gray areas. It either is or it isn't. Back there, you'll see the head of a guitar, the neck, the top of the neck and the head. That is what it is. It isn't an elephant. It isn't an orange. It isn't a flying saucer from outer space. It is the top part of a guitar. So, it's a logical point which is quite similar to 1 and 0. So, here's some other 1 and 0 concepts which we really can't go in the middle of. There's true and false. As a convention, we say that 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a true statement, and 2 plus 2 equals 5 is a false statement. Even if you're not in the pursuit of the eternal truth, there's still truth and true and false as a logical concept. If A is true, then not A is false. You can just think of truth and false in terms of making truth tables and the system of symbolic logic. Very useful thing, for analyzing huge amounts of text that make all of these statements, and your job is to find where there are contradictory statements and try and throw that paper in the rubbish as fast as you can. Then there is the other concept of anything and nothing, or you might say something or nothing. It can either be something or it can be nothing. There's really no gray matter in between that. There's no middle ground. That's a binary concept as well. Anything and nothing. So we have another concept which is binary called good and evil. Okay? If you don't think there is good and there is evil, well, you're not somebody that I really want to have around. Sorry, but you can keep watching, I suppose. But if you don't know the difference between good and evil, you can't really be trusted for anything. Then people who tend to try to be good try to do what is right, and people who are evil tend to do what is wrong. So right and wrong are also a binary concept. Now, that may be more subjective. However, it's a very important one that we use to decide our moral philosophy, and when we're in groups, to set up systems of ethics as sort of an operations manual of your morals that you can give to somebody and say, these are the rules that we live by, so the fewest people get hurt. Well, then there's polite and rude. Well, those are pretty well opposites. You generally get further in life if you're polite than you do if you're rude. Unless you're a comedian or something and being rude is your business. And finally, there's sociable and antisocial. And those are pretty well opposites too. So there is an area where binary thinking is wrong. It's when you divide society arbitrarily into two groups, like the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, for example. You've now made an artificial division of society. And now you form in your mind this binary concept, which then allows you to conclude that opposites will always clash. Well, they attract, yes, and that's a matter of physics. So maybe they don't clash as violently as the theory thought. And the complaint against binary thinking is in gender studies, where people don't wish to be identified as either a male or a female. Well, in Ontario now, you can put X. You don't wish to be defined by others. And I really don't think that most of us care what you want to think of yourself as. Live and let live, I say. So I have binary thinking that is very valuable to me. It has been for a very long time. So you can't just condemn binary thinking, because binary thinking brought us all of this technology that you are currently using as you think about binary thinking. Now, you may argue that perhaps dividing society in male and female is just as unjust as what Marx and Engels did when they divided society between proletariat and bourgeoisie. Well, I dare you to argue that. So, yes, binary thinking is a question of discernment and judgment. We have used binary thinking, ones and zeros, very successfully. And, if you multiply ones and zeros, you wind up with more numbers. See, there's 0, 0 makes 0, 0, 1 makes 1, 1, 0 makes 2, 1, 1 makes 3. So now you have 4 distinct quantities from a division of 2 binaries. And you can go up to 8, 16, 32, 64, 256, 64 million. You can keep dividing it until the ones and zeros are indistinguishable and you have a beautiful color image. Well, I'm not saying that I'm beautiful, but the quality of this image is incredible considering what we used to have to deal with in computers only 15 years ago. So binary works. It works very, very well in science and technology. We can't say, oh, well, there's gray areas. Now, in the deepest levels of science, we have quantum phenomena which do not behave deterministically. And, of course, fans of determinism really stumped their toes on quantum theory. Even Albert Einstein said that he refused to believe that God played dice with the universe. Unfortunately, statistics seems to be the only model that works when describing the behavior of electrons going around nuclei. Anyway, binary thinking. Think about it carefully, will you? It's not all bad.